Josip, are you excited for the webinar as well?
Yeah, very, very excited. Can't wait to share these insights. I think it's really interesting and valuable. And yes, while we are waiting for people to connect, definitely what is important to emphasize is that, if you have questions or want some follow-up answers, feel free to reach out to us. We'll be happy to answer. And the idea of the webinar is really to just share a lot of knowledge and insights on how to improve marketing performance in 2025.
Okay.
So
Yes,
anyway,
I think we can actually get started with everything that you've prepared for us today, as people are going to be joining. I'm going to be letting them in through our waiting room. But if you want, you can actually get started. It's an exciting couple of slides, so I'm really looking forward to everyone seeing it.
Yeah, me too. So let's start. Idea of this webinar is to share some insights on like AI news, privacy news, cookie policy news, but in general, like store performance, business performance, and what Facebook and Google ad strategies right now can help you improving your return on investment, marketing efficiency ratio, or blended customer acquisition cost. And so how we've structured this webinar, just a moment. Sorry, just give me a moment. Okay. So first we would cover about us part. So briefly about Lebesgue as a company and myself as a speaker here. Then we would go on the motivation section where we will cover a couple of real life examples of Shopify stores and their performance in this year. And then we would share the framework on how to run ads profitably on Facebook and Google Ads. And we will share after that some practical hacks and advice on how you can actually improve your performance on Facebook and Google. So basically the takeaway of that part would be that you go on your Facebook and Google Ads account and you immediately make some changes that will improve your click-through rates, conversion rates, and return on ad spend. So let's start with about Lebesgue. Lebesgue AI CMO, our tool was built to track massive data set of marketing data and figure out new strategies and tactics that you can implement to improve your marketing performance. Our software right now analyzes over $3 billion of Facebook and Google ads ad spend. It tracks your closest competitors and industry leaders. And based on those insights, it is able to tell you more transparently and objectively what you should be doing with your store than average marketer or like Meta representative, for example. And now briefly about myself. So I'm a published mathematician. I started my career as a data scientist, but most of my life I've spent in the performance marketing world, where I've managed the fastest growing European advertising account. I've spent over $50 million on Facebook and Google Ads, and all of that knowledge and insights we've put in our tool. And it was always working with e-commerce brands, and here we have a really deep understanding, as has our software, on like product issues, out of stock situations, new product launches, competitors running a new campaign that work. We're able to detect all of that and feed to our AI how you can really improve your store performance. So let's just deep dive into a couple of examples. What I've heard a lot this year is that ads don't work as good as in 2022, 2024, 2019, that privacy and cookies killed the ad performance and that businesses are really struggling. But what we've seen on our end, I think that's a big myth, as some of our customers, for example, in the fashion space, had almost 200% increase in revenue on a 15% lower marketing efficiency ratio. We also had a customer in jewelry space with big results in MER and revenue, in drinks and beverages space with big improvements in revenue and blended customer acquisition cost, or in skincare category, where our customer had 500% increase in revenue on a 90% lower blended CAC. And this is one really small store, but idea is to be a motivation that even smaller stores who never surpassed the $1,000 revenue mark were able to achieve that in 2 weeks with proper marketing strategy. And these were not just like hand-picked numbers from a couple of customers. On average, our customers are seeing 20% growth this year on a 12% lower marketing efficiency ratio. So in 2025, compared to same period in 2024, most of our customers had actually growth on a more profitable basis instead of seeing a decline that everyone is talking about. And now this was the motivation part, and idea is that you go away from this webinar by understanding tactics and strategies that you can implement on your store to improve your performance. And let's deep dive into that with framework how to run profitable ads on Facebook and Google. Tony, anything to repeat or something?
No, I think you're doing an awesome job going through the presentation. I'm just really excited to see the frameworks.
Cool. Thanks for the feedback. So yeah, here we will start with one example on how Facebook algorithm sees your audience on Facebook, Meta, Instagram ecosystem. So you can have customers on the left where expected customer acquisition cost is $55, $50, or $45. And you have customers on the right where customer acquisition cost or expected customer acquisition cost is $3, $5, or $7. And our question for every founder or marketer or anyone is where would you put your marketing budget? Is it on this part on the left or on the one on the right? And I think all of us would agree that we want to, put more of our marketing budget on the right where customer acquisition cost is lower, but kind of we are missing one crucial dimension to understand why CAC is here 55 and here $5. And let me show you how you should actually look at these numbers to understand meta performance. The customers on the right are actually your existing customers. And what is now harder than it was before is to properly exclude your previous customers from your ads and focus on the real prospecting customers where you want to allocate your budget. And kind of, if you ask Meta representatives, if you ask your agency, they will all tell you, here's the lowest customer acquisition cost. We should focus more on the right. But this is not actually what you want to do. So you don't want to pay $5 on the top of $55 that you already paid to acquire a customer. You want to allocate all of your marketing budget in the category on the left. So this one example for Facebook. We'll now cover a similar example that is happening on Google Ads, where PMAX campaigns see customer acquisition costs like this: 105 here, 70 here, 50 here, and then 357 on the right again. And again, question is like, where do you put your marketing budget? But it's easier to answer that once you see that the keywords on the right are actually branded keywords. So people who are already subscribed to your email list, they're already your customers, they know about your brand, and they're maybe just researching a bit, or they randomly Google your brand. Where you want to put your marketing budget is on the category on the left. So non-branded cold audiences, really keywords which find users who are not your customers already. And this is where you actually tackle your profitability, growth, and revenue numbers on the left, not on the right. And kind of what happens a lot in the space, and we've seen it with like many brands, is a situation like this that is happening in the practice. And is that if you're not careful, your Meta team, your Google team, and email team will all be targeting similar customers through different marketing channels. So you will have a Facebook reporting on a very high ROI, Google reporting on a very high ROI, email working really well, but you are not growing as a brand at all. And why that's happening? Because you're actually overspending and over-reporting on the customers you've already acquired. It's kind of all the players in this field, so Meta representatives, Meta agencies, Google representatives, Google agencies, they will all try to show you better return on ad spend, but that's not necessarily the best business decision for you. The best business decision is to target new customers, cold audiences that haven't visited your website before, as that is what drives new impressions, new clicks, new signups on the website that will drive your growth in the future. Yeah, and now this is
Yeah, Josip, we do have a question from Michael. Michael's question here, and I'd like to go through this straight away as we're on the slide, is what's your definition of branded keywords versus non-branded keywords? So if you go 2 slides back to Google, what would you define as a branded keyword versus something that's non-brand related?
Yeah, great question. So we actually separate 2 types of branded keywords. One is like brand, that's like your brand, like Lebesgue. And brands can be like if you're a reseller of other brands, then you have different brand categories. Like if you're selling socks, you have Darn Tough Socks, Smart Wool, Sockwell, Wigwam, so you have different brands on your website, and then you have your also brand name. Here I'm talking mostly about your brand name. So, if you're selling Nike, if you're Nike selling Nike shoes, that it's Nike as a brand name. So kind of, we will get to this part later, but here we are just tackling agencies and Google representatives and PMAX campaigns that just try to capture all in one campaign, and it's a black box and you don't really know where you're spending your budget. We'll get to a bit on this later. Tony, does this answer the question?
Yeah, Michael says thank you. And thank you, Josip.
Yeah, perfect. Great question. And nice to see JC joining the webinar. Yeah, and this is one success story that I really wanted to share here. This is one of our customers who had a drop in Facebook purchases and at the same time, 43% increase in first-time orders. And what they decided to do here is just stop spending on retargeting audiences. They've put 50% of their Facebook budget from retargeting to prospecting, and they were really able to grow as a brand. Their email list size increased by 30%. Their new clicks increased by 40%, and altogether as a brand, they grew 51% in first-time revenue and 43% in first-time orders levels. And at the same time, like Facebook agency was maybe reporting on lower Facebook purchases numbers, but that was intentional decision to increase brand revenue and first-time orders.
So essentially, yes, but what you're saying is just kind of as you were showing the slides for Facebook and Google, is don't just focus on cost per purchase on Meta and cost per purchase on Google, but really know where those purchases are coming from. So really focusing on the new customers for the channel acquiring those purchases for you, and not just focusing on ROAS numbers where kind of Facebook and Google, if they're not really set up to deliver to new customers primarily, can kind of steal some of that ROAS and just report better numbers, while the overall impact on the business is not going to be that big, which we saw in like 2 slides forward. So fewer Facebook purchases, but much better first time revenue, right? Yeah.
Yeah, correct. And then a very important topic is maybe which technology you can use to detect these issues and spot opportunities here. And this is the place where privacy and first-party data comes into place. One thing that we've built that you can install for free on our website is Lepixel. So it's a first-party tracking technology that will unify tracking through different marketing platforms. So you will not have like one thing that is being tracked by Facebook, one that is being tracked by Google. We can trace back every single click on the website from the initial channel that drove that click on the website. And what you get as a result of that, for all of the meta attributed purchases, for example, in this case, it's meta ads first touch attribution, you can see how many repeat customers and how many first-time customers you got through meta ads or Google ads or YouTube or influencers or whatever. So you can really see every single order ID. Let me show you this here. What initially drove the user on the website. So this is one thing that we can track. For example, user visited the website on the mobile device through Facebook prospecting campaign. 3 days later, they sign up to our email list. 2 days later, they got the retargeting ads. Then they switched from mobile device to desktop device, where they made a branded search and then made a purchase like 2 weeks later. And we can spot all of these steps. And then we are throwing some real advanced game theoretical concepts to really detect what drove initial conversion of user on the website. And kind of the idea is you can see this for every single order. And then you can blend this data together to see which marketing channels drive repeat customers for you and drive first-time customers for you. And this would be like one red flag that you can see maybe on your account, that 80% of your Facebook ads purchases is attributed to repeat customers instead of first-time customers. And this is just a massive mistake where you're allocating your budget in the wrong way and hurting your business performance. And this is how we would end this theoretical part, where you have to clearly outline what is your prospecting audience, your branded keywords or retargeting audience. And you should install the first-party tracking data on your website that can detect all of these clicks, measure them across different devices, and really detect what drives the first customer acquisition on your website. And now let's go to the second part, practical implementation, which is just a series of Facebook and Google suggestions, how you can improve your performance. The first suggestion, and that's great regarding to the question about Google Ads, this is the structure that we suggest that is kind of bulletproof to really know where you are spending your marketing budget. So you want to have 3 PMAX campaigns, maybe even 4, or shopping campaigns, where you target separately high margin products, medium margin products, and low margin products. And you kind of want to fully control every single cost per click and budget that goes into these campaigns, and know how much you can spend and allocate on different category levels. And again, you can trace this back to initial interaction of a user with the website and detect which ads really drive a high value conversions on your website and which just support retargeting processes. And then you have 3 search campaigns that you should have on your account: non-branded keywords, competitor keywords, and brand keywords. And when I see Google account like a PMAX catch-all 1 campaign and that's it, it's a terrible setup. and something you should start working on immediately, and setting something like this up that will really reveal what drives the customer acquisition processes for you. And here we are sharing benchmarks. You can check this later after the webinar so that we don't spend too much time on this. But basically, we are sharing how much money you should be paying on every single one of these categories. So PMAX, branded search, non-branded search, competitors campaign. So the idea is go on your account, check your campaigns, and if you're paying more than 40 cents on branded keywords or more than $2.5 on competitor keywords, you're paying too much. You should decrease budget there and adjust your marketing strategy.
But also important to note are the PMAX campaigns. Yes, in the previous slides, looking at those benchmarks. The one with the benchmarks and the cost per clicks that you were talking about is you really want to be excluding your branded keywords from the PMAX campaigns whenever possible, because they are going to be cannibalizing some of your purchases for branded keywords, which you want to keep in that branded search campaign to have the lowest possible cost per click, and just let the PMAX focus on your actual products and not just people searching for your branded keywords.
Correct. And that's a new feature by Google. A year ago, it wasn't possible to exclude from PMAX campaigns branded keywords. It is possible now. So this is one new trend that you should be utilizing to improve your business performance. And Google has added it with a reason, because people were complaining there is too many brand campaigns happening for their businesses.
And yes, as you're talking, I'm sorry to really kind of barge in on you, but we do have another question from Rashida as well. So, do you recommend different Lebesgue insights to set up on new store or an ad setup, or can you use Lebesgue insights on an existing store and then just optimizing your ad data based on that?
Yeah, both works. It's a great question, and we kind of have built our product to support both cases. So if you are a new brand that hasn't been running ads yet, you can input your competitors, and our software will start tracking all of their Facebook ads, Google ads, and email marketing, and kind of just learn from your competitors. You don't have to make mistakes they have been making. We will flag the best ads of your competitors, and you can just reproduce what is working in the industry. And for existing brands, we will be flagging every single day, every time you open the app, we will be flagging all of the technical mistakes on Google and Facebook, and all of the opportunities that you can utilize to improve your performance. And we will get a bit more onto this later, Tony. I hope this answers the question initially. Yeah, on the Facebook part, what is crucial thing, again, it's a new feature by Facebook that has been rolled out over the last 6 or 8 months, is defining 3 types of audiences on the account: existing audiences, engaged customers, and new customers. And again, you want to set a 5% or 10% cap, not to spend more than that money to target existing customers. So you kind of want to force Facebook to find new customers that haven't converted yet, instead of spending money on customers you already paid to acquire. And then if you're being focused on new customers, then you have to prepare upper funnel content for yourself. So user-generated content, video ads, and scroll-stopping headlines and text descriptions that will improve your performance. We will get a bit on this later. So this is just the Facebook's structure that you should utilize to improve performance there. And now we are sharing some further hacks on the audience level on Facebook, and we'll get to some Google suggestions on how to improve performance. And for example, this insight is based on $3 billion Facebook ad spent. And what you can see, this is something that used to be a huge tactic on Facebook to do lookalike based targeting. So find like 1% of your lookalike audiences. And this is usage of lookalike audiences over the last 5 years. So from January 2021 to July 2024. And there has been 70% drop in lookalike audiences over the last 4 years, where people are basically not using this anymore. And why is the question? And the answer is because the return on ad spend on average is 40% lower when you're doing lookalike based targeting versus broad targeting. So this is one outdated strategy, and you can clearly see decline in the trend. I've personally spent $7 million in 1 year on lookalike 1%. And at that time, I would say that it's the best strategy right now, but it's not working anymore. It's an older product of Facebook that is not working, and you should, if you have it on the account, definitely reevaluate that decision today already, because you're probably wasting 40% of your return on ad spend here. Other suggestion, this is a question we are being asked a lot: how to do budget split between Facebook and Google. And we do have algorithm that will determine ideal budget split between Facebook and Google. But on a high level, this is a rule of thumb that I like to use. If your brand is more like impulsive purchase, under $150 average order value, you should be focusing on Meta and social. While if you're more focused on the like deep research, reading blog posts, spending more money on a product like $400, $500, you should be focusing on Google and SEO. And kind of, we haven't seen a brand that can at the same time run Facebook ads and Google ads to the same extent. You should either pick Facebook and put all of the focus there, or focus on Google and spend like 70% of your budget there. And it should be on a high level, be dependent on, what is the average order value of your product, or how many sessions and how impulsive purchase it is of your users to make a purchase on your website. This is more like a creative hack that you should utilize on Facebook ads. Very simple one. You should do it in 3 minutes after this call. It's basically to put a 5-star emoji in the ad description of your ads. So kind of probably this section right now is either empty or filled with some, unnecessary text. What you should put here is 5-star emoji. We're seeing instant 20% increase in conversion rates once you add this here. And then what is just important follow-up strategy to this is that on your product page on the website, you also have above the fold top 3 or top 4 reviews that people can easily find when they open your website. As this is one of the biggest anxiety factors and friction reducer factors on the website, having good reviews that are easily accessible and that are real, of course, not some generic ones, fake. And I think the most important maybe hack or most interesting hack that I would personally like to see if I would attend a webinar like this is which AI prompts I can use to improve my creative processes. And this is something we're utilizing in our company. So you can talk to AI and feed to AI. For example, prompt number 2 is really good, and our software can support you here. You can basically input the best performing ads of your competitors to AI and tell him to rewrite competitor ads in a style that fits your brand and add some emotion like fear of missing out or authority or curiosity. Another suggestion here is that I'm utilizing a lot is to research, to force AI to research fresh ad creative angles that you can use to target specific user personas. And you can also add some things like this. So give 1-line hook and 20-word body each to improve your just output that you will have on Facebook ads or Google ads. There are some more prompts that we are sharing here that I would definitely encourage you to use. And actually my favorite one is this one. It's a Google Ads prompt where you basically you give to Google your headlines and descriptions, and ask AI to rewrite headlines and descriptions using MacLab's conversion heuristic formula. Whatever this is, it's not really important. It does magic for you. Just put this prompt to AI engine, and it will write awesome Google improvements for your brand. It also works for Facebook ads and product pages on the website. And this is probably something we will be adding in our software too. But right now you can just use it as a prompt and massively increase your click-through rates and decrease cost per click on Google Ads. And Tony, I think this was of course, I forgot the most important hack: use Lebesgue AI CMO. So we have a free plan available. You can install it for free today. You can audit all of your Facebook mistakes, Google mistakes. You can track your competitors' data, and basically maybe everything that we've put in the audit in this presentation is less than 5% of our total tool. So we have competitors' data, first-party tracking data for your brand. We can spot all of the Facebook and Google mistakes, and you can really achieve, as you've seen, at least 20% return on investment improvement after using our tool. And that's my last suggestion. Tony, any other questions or thoughts?
Currently, well, not questions from the chat, but I do think that the slides were very informative, and we wanted to keep it short and sweet at this time, but really we are open for discussion. So if anything wasn't super clear during the whole presentation, if you want to share your thoughts about how you're approaching Facebook ads and Google ads, we'd really love to hear them in the chat and then have an opportunity to discuss it. Yeah, but Josip, thank you for the delivery. Thank you for the webinar and your time today.
Tony, you have any questions? I feel weird with just a couple of questions.
No, I'm just answering AJ's question, because AJ was asking where he can actually install Lebesgue as well. So I'm including that as a link in the chat as well. But really, yeah, my kind of whole gist of everything that you have mentioned today kind of all goes back to those two slides with Facebook's CAC and Google's CAC, and how Facebook and Google are actually doing the job that they promised to do for you, which is to get you the lowest possible, to get you the lowest possible cost per purchase. But that's not always the business goal, and that's not always something that we're talking to business owners about and CEOs about. It's acquiring new customers, because when you're paying all that money to Meta, you're paying to acquire a customer, and then you can resell to them as much as you want via email, via text, via all the different channels where you don't really need to pay either Meta or Google for that conversion. Or in this case, to both of the channels. Like, you don't have to pay both Meta and Google to acquire a customer that you know you that you know is going to convert again because they like your product. So it's the way that you want to set up your ad accounts to really deliver to people who haven't bought from you before. And that is going to include the way you are going to set up your audiences and just not overspend on existing customers. So that's kind of been my biggest takeaway from this. But also answering a question that I got in chat is that we are going to be sending these slides after the webinar is done. So once we're done with the webinar, once we've edited the video, which we are recording today as well, it's going to be available for everyone that joined this webinar today as well. So it's going to be up on our YouTube channel, and you're going to be able to rewatch it.
Yeah. And sorry, Tony, I just went through the questions. Yeah, maybe this is not the most beginner-friendly content, but it should be relatively intuitive. You know, on a high level, there are like three marketing channels that a Shopify store owner should look at: Facebook ads, Google ads, and email marketing. And these three things need to work in sync to get your ads working and get your store working. Not that, sorry, get your store working. And the main thing you should be avoiding is, you know, agencies or, you know, Facebook and Google reps that will just, you know, suggest to you to spend money on existing customers without really focusing on the things that drive business success, and that's new customer acquisition processes. Yeah, that's the key insight. And we have a lot of blog posts. We are really open to answering any questions. Feel free to reach out. We would be happy to, you know, onboard you on the product and show you all of the insights that you can get using the AI in 2025.
Yeah, yes, we do have a message from Rob as well now, just coming into the chat. How should we think about existing engagers, so users who've engaged with the brand but haven't made their first order? Is Meta or Google a better channel for pushing someone over the line? So basically, I think Rob is talking about a retargeting audience, so people that know about the brand but haven't really just made a purchase yet.
Yeah, so this is actually, there's a very technical answer on this question. So what we've built is a shapely value attribution. It's a Nobel Prize winning game theoretical concept, which will just analyze all of your historical data, all of the users' interactions with the website, and figure out really how much you should be spending on these different audience types. But kind of my thought process is here, I like to lean forwards first interaction. So kind of we heavily favor first, second, and third interaction of a user with the website. So I would say what drove the initial customer interaction, I would put like 80% of the weight there and put more of the budget there. So kind of you want to get these hooks that will get users on the website. You want them to get sign up on your email list. That's a crucial thing in the advertising space, actually, maybe that we didn't mention. 5 years ago, you were able to retarget 80% of your traffic. Now you're able to retarget 25% of your traffic. So you kind of have to put more emphasis on email marketing, on high deliverability rates, because you want to capture users' email and then they're stored with yourself forever. So yeah, maybe I didn't answer the question fully, Tony, but basically I would say that try to get users to engage with your ads, capture their emails, and then exclude them from from Facebook ads and Google ads. So kind of the initial interaction should be Facebook ads, people signing up on the website, and then they're part of the email journey, not Facebook ads journey anymore. Yeah. Tony, anything else?
Oh, I agree with you on that one.
Maybe I'm confusing people more than I'm helping now, but feel free to reach out and we can answer further if needed.
Of course. Okay. I think that that was it for the questions. Rob, did that answer your question though?
There's one more question, Tony. Is
TikTok
TikTok,
has an option.
this is awesome question. I really like it. Is TikTok an option? This is an awesome question. I really, thanks for asking this. So we get a lot of questions like this. The thing about TikTok is, I like to say it like this. If you have problems on Facebook, these problems will be replicated on TikTok ads too. Similarly, if you have problems on Google, it will be replicated on Microsoft ads too. But if your Facebook ads are working, then you should try to scale 20% of that budget on TikTok. And if your Google ads are working, you can just replicate those same strategies on Microsoft ads. So, but kind of, you should focus in the beginning up to when you get to $100,000 revenue per month, focus on Facebook and Google only. And after that, start adding Microsoft and TikTok. This is just a general rule. If your audiences are like 17, 18, 19 years old, then focus more on TikTok. But in general, what works on Facebook will work on TikTok, but also what doesn't work on Facebook won't work on TikTok either. And similarly for Google and Microsoft. Basically, Microsoft and TikTok are younger brothers of Facebook and Google, and you should treat them like that.
Thank you, Josip.
Yeah, Rashid, awesome questions. Thanks a lot for asking. Yeah, you can always reach out with more questions if needed.
And yes, we do have a question from Phil as well. Does Lebesgue support an automated process to exclude existing customers from the meta profile? So automated audience creation.
Phil, that's an awesome feature request that we will put on our roadmap. But we don't do it right now. Idea is you can do it with Klaviyo, but what we've seen with a lot of brands is that you set up the Klaviyo sync and then it breaks for some reason and no one changes it for 2 years. We've seen $100 million brand who didn't update their Klaviyo sync. So we kind of like to actually tell to users, every quarter, just go, and upload the new customer list from Shopify to Facebook manually and make sure you're excluding customers properly. So you can use here the Facebook pixel. You can actually use a Lebesgue's LAN reacher to enrich the data and enhance the tracking there. But kind of, we don't automatically sync these things for you. And we kind of don't want to do it. Shopify, Klaviyo, Facebook are really good here. We just flag when these things are not working properly. It's kind of, I think it's really good not to really fully rely on AI, but you want to check your things. You want to really know things are working properly there, because on a scale of like 10,000 brands that we have, it's really hard. We don't want to automate everything. We want people to think with their heads on how they can really improve their business performance instead of fully relying on AI and just, because these things can break, and it's better to double check everything on your own. Tony, is this a decent answer?
Yeah, I do think it does answer it, and Phil is saying thank you for that. So yes, but definitely it's a good feature request, but still there's a lot of different tools that are going to be able to do that for you. And so just for everyone, I am going to be including the link to our YouTube channel as well, because I've gotten a couple of questions about our YouTube as well. So it's just going to be in the meeting chat. When you need it. And another question coming from Michael Lally is, can your platform also work with service-based businesses? So instead of e-commerce.
Yeah, I would say, so kind of what we wanted to build is a really powerful algorithm that will help e-commerce brands. You can use many of our features if you're a services-based business, so you can track your competitors, you can get creative feedback, you can get a Facebook audit and Facebook and Google mistakes. But the true power of our software right now comes with e-commerce brands. As kind of it's with the e-commerce brands, there is a very clear, checkout process. You add item to cart, you initiate checkout, you get an email, you purchase. And this is where we are training our AI to really understand what is happening with like 25,000 brands. So it's like, it would be if you would hire an e-commerce consultant to help you with your services brand. Probably it would give some good suggestions, but it's not the best thing you can do right now. So I would maybe, definitely stay in the loop, reach out with your specific case and we can talk more, but it's not the default go-to solution, I would say. Though we are using it internally for our stuff, for SaaS business, for example.
And yeah, Michael, thanks for the questions. But yes, we are looking to update some of our Facebook ads videos on our YouTube channel as well. So there is going to be a lot of more incoming content about both advertising, but also how to use Lebesgue more effectively to really just get the lowest possible customer acquisition cost for your business.
And don't ignore, everyone is ignoring AI prompts part. I think that's really great hack that you should tackle to improve your, I think it's really easy to set up ads in the right way. And you can use our software to detect all of the mistakes here. And then the longer game is just figuring out the ideal creative angles to talk to your customers, to different customer personas, and to capture their attentions and convert them on the website. So definitely don't ignore this part. And with our tool, for example, you can feed competitor ads and get a feedback based on what is working well for your competitors. That's an awesome feature that you can use in our tool, and that will definitely improve your click-through rates and conversion rates on Facebook ads, for example. Yeah. Okay.
And just another question coming in from Rashida. For the slides that you had on the CAC ballpark, is there a resource to look up where average CAC for different niches is, or is there a way to ask AI for that specifically?
Yes, so sorry. One thing here, we are showing here cost per click. We didn't put this in the
No,
presentation.
where you a couple of slides ago where you were talking about CAC that you had highlighted within the Venn diagrams. This, yeah.
Here. Yeah, this is very good. So you can actually use our software for that. So in our software, you have click-through rates, cost per clicks, and conversion rates per different campaign types. So if you go under Google benchmark section, you can see benchmarks for PMAX, benchmarks for search, benchmarks for shopping. For Facebook ads, you have benchmarks for prospecting campaign and for retargeting. Yeah, and you can reach out to us with more details on that. It's also good to like double check with AI, of course, if it has some insights. But kind of we are the leader here in the space of understanding benchmarks using AI. So I would actually use our tool for this.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you, Josip. And also, Michael is asking, is the AI available in the app, or is this just a suggestion to use within ChatGPT? And I would say that the answer to both of these is yes, because you can use your ChatGPT as well to really use all these prompts. But within Lebesgue and the creative strategy feature that we have for meta ads, you are going to be able to use our own AI, which is going to be looking at your ad, looking at your competitor ads, and then is going to be giving you advice on how you can make that copy better based on over $3 billion of ad spend that we are analyzing from
Yes.
all of our
And
customers.
one thing, so for people who are attending this webinar, we're actually rolling out next week our own AI, like chat interface within our app. If you want to reach out to us and we can give you early access to that feature, we would like to hear your feedback. As it's a fresh feature that is coming next week, we would like to generate some early insights. It's basically going to be chat interface within Lebesgue that has a full context of your business, your competitors, and all of mistakes that you're potentially making on your accounts. Yeah, and there are plans to include YouTube ads. Actually, within the Google ecosystem, YouTube ads are included by default. What we've seen with most of our customers, so up to $1 million monthly revenue, YouTube is extremely expensive platform to run ads, much more expensive than Meta or TikTok or Instagram. So we are seeing more of the Google focus on search, shopping, PMAX. YouTube dedicated campaigns we do have some insights about that. It just, if you are not, over the $1 million revenue per month level, probably YouTube will be too expensive, but reach out maybe to us and we can talk more on what specific questions you have, because we do have some data on that. It's just not default part of the platform.
And Josip, Rashida would like to clarify on the question a bit that we had. So Rashida, if you want, I can actually unmute you. You are unmuted. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. Thanks. This has been helpful. My question so the way my account is set up, it has a specific store and that store is in a certain niche. My question related to the cost per acquisition or the CAC and doing a little bit more of that research was related. If I want to add a new business line that's unrelated to the existing niche, are we able to see the industry average CACs if it's a different niche that's if different from the store we have connected to?
Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay, awesome. Yeah, that's something that we can probably pull for you manually. So with thousands and thousands of different businesses using Lebesgue and our data science team, if you're interested in these types of benchmarks, definitely do send an email to that hi@lebesgue.io email address. I think I posted it in the chat. But we can definitely talk about that and even join you on a call if you need more information about that.
Yeah, Tony, just to add here, so one thing about benchmarks is that kind of on Google Ads, you are not necessarily competing, or Facebook Ads especially, you're not competing against your niche. You're competing against anyone who is running Facebook ads. So, you're maybe competing against Lebesgue if we're targeting same audiences, especially on Facebook. It is with broad targeting. Actually, it's better to look at the benchmarks on a broader level. So however you spin it around, you should have at least 1.5 or 1.6% click-through rate on Facebook, and conversion rate should be above 1.2, 1.5%. And then for industry-specific stuff, creative strategist and competitor intelligence are actually, I think, better features where you can just handpick all of the competitors you want to track and feed that data into creative strategist. And probably you can separate it based on the ad account level in the creative strategies tab. So you can probably do it even within our app, but not for benchmarks. Yeah, but very good question, Rashida. We can also talk more about that if you have further questions or uncertainties.
Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Yeah, Tony, let's wrap it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we've gone through a lot of questions, and like I said, we are going to be sharing the slides with you after the webinar. So keep an eye on your email within the next day or two. Also, a recording is going to be shared with you all. Some of you joined us a bit later, so the full recording is going to be shared with you via email as well. So any questions that you might have, we're always open for them. hi@lebesgue.io is our email, and we'll get to you as soon as we can. So with that being said, thank you so much, everyone, for joining today's webinar. We're super happy that you took time out of your day to join this webinar. There's going to be more of these in the coming months, so we're going to be letting you know about those, and I hope to see you again in some of our next Lebesgue webinars. Josip, thank you so much for hosting the webinar, preparing the presentation for us, and going through all of the insights. Thank you to all of our audience, and I hope you have an awesome rest of your day.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Have
Bye.
a good one, guys.